What is he wearing?
I think he's. Is he? Todd, can you hear us? Todd, can you hear us?
He's coming. He's got a DeAndre Hunter jersey.
That is so swag. I mean, that just shows the bromance that they have. We got to talk about that. I mean, these two are like peanut butter and jelly. They said it about LeBron and Dwayne Wade, but that bond, I see it on Instagram. I see it in person. That bond is just inseparable. It's got to be a great thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to...
Welcome to the stage. National championship point guard, Ty Jerome. What's up, boy?
How you doing, bro?
Good.
Hello, man.
I think it's so awesome when they do the handshake.
We've been doing that for quite some time. First question I'm going to ask you is, who is the best coach you've ever had? Get it right.
I mean,
it really shouldn't be taking that long to answer.
I played for you for like, what, 10 years, 12 years? And
We don't need an explanation.
No, and we won a Division II national championship. Then we went to Division I, and we didn't win. So we won a national championship
Could
here.
that happen to do with the players?
So we won a national championship here, so I might have to say Coach Bennett.
After he just souped you up in front of everybody, you just hit him right in the
I
stomach.
just wanted to be clear, that's not what was told to me a couple of years ago. You guys have known each other for quite some time, right? I've actually talked to Justin, Devin, a couple of guys who've been here around the program for quite some time. What advice were you able to give Ty when he's making that jump, what the NBA is going to be like? Let me go back. He came to visit you in Philly. Were you a freshman? After your freshman year, you and Dre went to go visit Justin in Philly and hang out with him?
Yeah.
What advice did you have for Ty and Dre?
I remember they were coming up to the city to visit some of their friends, and they came up. They bought their own food. They stayed at their own place. I'm doing this for the NCAA. I didn't give them anything for free, I promise. But the biggest thing was we didn't get to play together. So the biggest thing I wanted him to understand is that no matter what, this brotherhood lasts longer than basketball. My house, my doors are always open to these guys. So the biggest thing is I just wanted him to see, hey, look, man, all you need is one opportunity, one shot. And I always tell him and Kyle, we're the 3-and-out crew because we got in 3 years and we got up out of here. Shout out Corey as well. But the biggest thing I wanted these guys to understand is understand who I am first before I just start talking to you about your career, your life. And I wanted to invite them into my home and just allow them to feel comfortable talking to me about everything. Ragging on Coach Bennett, ragging on Coach Williford, doing all of the things that are normal. And when we start to talk about basketball, the biggest thing that I try to tell these guys outside of saving their money and obviously having fun, the biggest thing that I want them to understand is these people want to pay us to do something. So keeping your character high, keeping your nose clean, keep staying out of trouble, being a good dude, being a good guy. And outside of that, being a New York City point guard, this guy's got it. Whether it was from you, whoever he's been playing with, he's going to take care of the basketball stuff. I just want to make sure that he has a support system and a family that he can always rely on.
And I think, again, that's one of the consistencies with UVA sports, or at least basketball, that there's a strong brotherhood and a strong bond amongst all of you guys. Right? While you're playing games, while you're in a game, let's say Texas Tech, Auburn, whoever you're playing against, you don't necessarily know how they're going to defend the pick and roll. You don't know how they're going to defend certain plays. At what point do you say, all right, this is how they're doing it? Like Auburn, I think it was Auburn, how they basically trapped the pick and roll, right? At what point do you figure that out? Do you figure that out immediately? Does it take 2 or 3 times? When do you know what decision you're going to make off that pick and roll?
I think going into a game, you want to make sure you know what the team's typical tendencies are, so you know what to look for at first. And then the thing in college, most teams mix it up based on who they're playing, which we don't do, but a lot of other teams do. So as long as you know their tendencies that they usually do, that's how I come in the game, like knowing what to expect. and then I just react from there, after a few plays go by. But I will always make sure I try to study a team, especially their pick and roll defense, where they push the ball on the wing, if they push it to the baseline, push it to the middle, try to learn their tendencies, prior to the game, so I come in knowing what to expect.
I remember Nova. I remember it was on the left wing. Was it left to right pull up or right to left? I'm trying to figure out which one. It was on the left wing. You know exactly which one I'm talking about from deep. But I remember watching in my hotel on the road, and you had a hell of a game that night. Being a shifty point guard, being able to just get where you want on the basketball court, everybody wanted to change Coach Bennett's mind on pace. And I know a lot of people have had the conversation with you, and he's actually said it as well. He's given you a lot more freedom than he's given point guards in the past. What do you think it was about your game, your relationship with him, and your confidence as a player that allowed us to play a tad bit faster and add the pick and roll to a system that he didn't necessarily use when I was there years before?
I think it was just the time we put in together, the trust we built, the relationship we built. Because my first year, I didn't really have any of that freedom. My second year started to grow a little bit, and by my third year I had a lot more freedom. It was just the time, the trust I earned, I think, and the relationship we built. So just earning each other's trust, and by my third year we were as close as it gets between player coach. So just growing through losses too. I think that UMBC loss helped us grow tremendously.
I just want one quick question about the national championship. Everybody's been asking you, media, college, NBA, everybody's been asking you about it. Is there anything about that moment that sticks out to you that you have not yet talked about? Whether it was couldn't sleep for certain nights after, or?
So I talked about all the time about the moment I shared with my family right after the game, which is probably the most special moment for me. But what Kyle said last night at the bank or the dinner we had, the ring ceremony, was really cool, because I remember, I always watch One Shining Moment. Like growing up, I would always watch One Shining Moment. And the year before, we were in One Shining Moment, like Kyle and I walking back to the locker room after the UMBC game, and we talked about it. And then the following year, Dre, Kyle, and I we sat on the podium together and just looked up watching One Shining Moment. And Kyle talked about that moment. That was pretty special.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You grew up in New York City playing basketball. You were born in New York City, lived in New York City. I cringe every time I hear Ty's from New Rochelle. He is from New York City, right? Long lineage of point guards. We would run around from tournament to tournament. I think we hit 4 boroughs when you were like 6 or 7 years old. Maybe someone was going to call ACS on me for the amount of games you played in one weekend between baseball and basketball. How did that prepare you for, first of all, your freshman year when you didn't play a lot, but yet you came on the court and you stayed confident, you stayed positive? Right? How did that go, playing against such great competition in New York, playing against guys who were older than you consistently? What was your mindset going your freshman year?
Honestly, coming my freshman year in the beginning, I didn't come in as confident as I would like to. And I remember we talked about that kind of in the summer, in the beginning of the season. And then it was just a constant learning process for me. But just when you go through your whole life playing against older, stronger, faster kids, in environments like New York City parks, playing for you, I'm not going to have a tougher coach. It just makes you it just makes you a tougher player on and off the court. You learn to deal with things. You learn to deal with adversity. I think all the adversity I went through in high school prepared me for the adversity I went through my first year, the adversity we went through losing to UMBC, and the adversity I'm going to continue to go through taking this next step. So I think it's just the more adversity you go through, the stronger you become.
Draft night. Talk to me. What was that experience like? What was the anticipation like? What was the build-up like?
Super nervous. Because the crazy part about it is you're about to find out where you're going to live for maybe the next
however
long. So it's not just like you're finding out what team you're playing for. It's about what city you're about to live in. Mm-hmm. So all that stuff is building up in the back of your mind. Then you have the nerves of like, am I going to get drafted here? Am I going to get drafted there? Am I going to get drafted? And you're just watching and you have no idea. So, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be whatever, top 10, top 15. So I just wanted to watch Dre get picked because I knew he was in the hopefully top 5. So I watched Dre get picked. Then I kind of relaxed for a little bit. Then we got to pick like 16-ish, and between 16 and 24 for the longest, 30 to 45 minutes of my life.
Oh.
The longest.
I remember them. I remember the days. Who was your phone call from? Mine was from Mark Cuban and Dirk Nowitzki. It was crazy. Whoa, talk to me about your experience when you finally figured out that you were going to play for the Phoenix Suns.
So I told my agent, I told Mark not to call me because I didn't want everybody in the room to know. Like, I want to be the only one that knew. I just thought he just sent me a text. But there was a tweet that went out, so I found out off Twitter.
Wow.
So that's how I found out. I just was scrolling through Twitter, and Woj tweeted, like, Suns just traded for the 24th pick, targeting Ty Jerome. So I saw that, and, like, at the end I saw that, I was like, oh, am I about to go?
Right.
And then I looked at my phone, and my agent texted me, like, you're up, Suns. And then afterwards I spoke to James Jones and Monty Williams. So.
What does that feel like to be targeted during the draft? Not only are you drafted, the Suns wanted you. What did that feel like?
Yeah, it's pretty special just knowing that they traded up to pick me, to show them what they think of me, and just gotta go prove them right.
That's awesome. You know, when we play against you guys this year, I gotta guard you. just for the picture, we can throw it on the gram later.
What's the experience so far like in Phoenix?
Just working out, getting to know everybody, getting comfortable, moving into my place. So basically just
which is
getting settled in.
Quite a nice place. Far cry from Harlem. Looks a little bit, looking out in the street is a little bit different.
Yeah. But no, it's been good so far. All the coaches seem great. Been a pleasure to work with so far.
I didn't want to let a moment go. There's another Phoenix Sun that played here at UVA, and you're familiar with them. Sean Singletary's in the building. Can we just make some noise for him? So Madden 20 comes out. My rookie year in Dallas, if anyone remembers the Madden Bus Challenge, I recreated that, and I set up a situation in Dallas where I had a few fans come and play against me for a 72-inch or 70-inch flat screen TV. I ended up winning, but I didn't want to take the TV home. I'm not going to lose anybody, so I let the runner-up take the TV home. This was Madden 15. Fast forward 5 years later, Ty Jerome gets drafted. Madden 20 comes out. He puts up an Instagram post, who wants this smoke in Madden? So I said, I'm the best Madden player ever. He proceeds to beat me by like 28 points. And I don't even think I scored. Pick after pick. He actually, when I said run it back, he said, yeah, bro, my girl's in town, I gotta go. Can't do it. That hurt. We're always talking about basketball. Off the court, I know Madden is something that you love to do. Is there any other things that you're interested in? I see the Supreme kicks that are fly. I see the ankle bracelet that you started to trend. What are some of the things that you like to do off the court that makes Ty Jerome the man that he is?
Honestly, nothing special. I wish I had another passion, but it's just basketball. And then after, I just like hanging out with my friends. That's why I find coming back to UVA so special, because I find the bond we had, I don't know if I'm ever going to find again. So whenever I can get back here to try to spend time with, my teammates, that's why I find this trip so special. I just like to spend time with my family, friends, play Madden, just chill, really.
3 quick questions. Well, I don't know if they're quick. You guys lose 20 into UMBC. At what point, were you ever nervous that you guys it was done against Oregon, against Purdue, against Auburn, against Texas Tech? Gardner Webb. But at one point, we had a conversation at Auburn, after the Auburn game. You were like, if we would have lost, I would have felt so badly.
Nah, 'cause if we would have lost, that would have been on me. I think we were up 10 or 12, and I picked up my 4th foul with 3:40 left or 4 minutes left. And I came out and went back, and we were down 2 maybe. And then I think I missed a 3, and then, I don't know, it was just, my 4th foul was might have been the dumbest play I made all season. So if we lost that game, that would have been all completely on me. But the most nervous I was Gardner Webb by far. That was the most nervous I was. Yeah.
So you have a pretty special relationship with your brother. You guys are really close, which of course makes me really happy. As a parent, you want your family to be so close. You're going to be in Phoenix. Younger brother who grew up in New York and now coming to Blue Ridge. How are you going to handle that relationship moving forward?
Well, thank God for FaceTime and iMessage and all that, because we speak every day, whether we play video games together or just FaceTime together every day, or he just texts me. Whatever it is, we speak every day. But
there won't be any video games. He's got school.
No, but just finding ways to stay close to him. I couldn't go to a further spot across the country, really, but just finding ways to stay close to him. Whenever he can visit. So he'll be in Phoenix in 2 weeks. So just finding ways to, try to stay close to him.
Okay, let's imagine you're in a court of law. You're under oath.
Are you going to revisit the first question?
Have you recently... Different one, but since I should have prefaced that one, the first question, with under oath too. Have you recently lost a shooting contest to a family member, specifically your father, on draft night?
No.
Let me remind you, you're under oath, or should I pull out my phone? Caroline, could I have my phone, please? Caroline, could I have my phone so I can show the video? Are you really telling me you didn't lose the shooting contest to your father on draft night?
I won, actually. We played 3 games.
No. Did you? It was draft night. I had to make you feel better. I couldn't kill you on draft night when you were getting drafted and make you hurt your confidence.
We played 3 games.
Okay, so did you lose one of the games?
I won a series.
Did you lose one of the games?
Yeah, I won a series.
What?
I won a series.
Let me ask you one more time.
And we were shooting like form shots because he can't reach from the.
They were threes.
No.
They were 3-pointers.
They were not 3. There's not even a 3-pointer in that backyard.
They were as far back as we could go on concrete.
Ty, is this what it was like in the house? Is it just competitive basketball, loving each other through the game of basketball? Is this what it was like growing up?
Honestly, it was competitive everything we do. So I remember we took a
backgammon in Vermont.
We took a little trip to Vermont, and we were playing Monopoly, right? And we were playing Monopoly. It's me, him, my little brother, little sister, who was probably 7 or at the time, or 8, and her mom or grandma?
Her mom and
her mom and grandma, and she had a property that he needed, and she wouldn't trade it. So he starts screaming at her.
That is not true. Your credibility, by the way, is shot for not admitting that you lost.
So we're in the house playing Monopoly, and she's like 8-year-old girl. She's not in the same like competitive world, the sports world, so she doesn't understand. She's trying to play Monopoly, have a good time, and he's screaming at her. Like, if you're not going to trade, I'm not going to play. This is stupid. I'm not going to play. And so the mom gets all mad. And he's like, Mark, you have to relax, blah, blah. And he's like, no. She's like, they don't play the right way. And he's screaming. And this is like a game of Monopoly on in the middle of August on a Sunday afternoon.
We are competitive, but why don't you ask him about our backgammon series? And the card game, by the way, that he and Devin played against my younger one and him.
I never even played backgammon before.
So I just want to know, and we talked a little bit with Coach Bennett earlier, outside of the fun and things like that, what benefits do you think it was having a father who was tough on you but loved you, wanted you to be the best, pushed you in workouts, pushed you on a competitive level, growing that competitive asset? What were some of the benefits that you got just from having a father who cares so much and wanted to put you in the best position for yourself and have you make your own decisions?
I like that question.
Talk a little bit about that, because your pops obviously wants a little bit of love from you right now.
I think 95% of the players you see succeed or get to the college level and beyond, or even just be great high school players, it's because of people that have sacrificed a lot to put them in that position. So my dad and my mom, but my dad being that person who coached me growing up, hard on me growing up, sacrificed a lot for me growing up. He was just one of those people, and not only forget teaching me, my knowledge of the game, teaching me how to shoot, teaching me how to play, working out every day. Forget all that. Just the sacrifices he made, just like every other kid's parent who's here right now. Just, those sacrifices are never be forgotten.
What does Charlottesville, Virginia mean to you? What is this community, this city, the corner, what does it mean to you?
It's home. It's home. It'll forever be my home. I think those videos, after we won and seeing everyone go crazy, I could watch them right now. I get emotional. Like, it's forever be my home. So
that's awesome. We talk a lot about role models, mentors. Mine is here in the house tonight. We got a chance to talk to Corey earlier. Pops is obviously one. Do you have anybody else that you've been seeking advice from through the NBA about what's next, about anything? Do you have any role models that you keep in touch with that help you out throughout the process?
Honestly, I've been fortunate to have a ton of good coaches in my whole life. It's like my dad being one, my high school coach being one, my AAU coach being one. So just finding different guys to just learn from along the process. Like you, when I first got here, learned from London a ton. Dev, who's up there, just finding different guys to constantly learn from, and just now making this jump. I spoke to Malcolm during the pre-draft process. So just guys that I'm close with that I can speak to, just constantly trying to learn from everybody, because that's the best way to do it.
I got to put you up against Hall of Fame football player Chris Long with this question, and this is my last question. I have Mr. Reed taking a kickoff to the house tonight. I was telling him that earlier. Chris's prediction, I'll tell you after. But what is your prediction for the final score for the game tonight? And you'll be in attendance, correct?
Yes.
What is your final score prediction for us versus Florida State tonight?
Oh, man. 28-14 us.
28-14 us. Hopefully we make you look like a genius with that. Chris said 38-28 us. Both of us with us winning with a comfortable margin. Can't wait for the game tonight. I personally want to say thank you so much for bringing the championship here. Thank you for being a good friend. Glad to be in business with you. Locker room access is doing great. As you can see, focused this year on your rookie season. I'll be focused on my 5th year. These guys got us taken care of behind the scenes. Can't wait to see you suited up. Can't wait to suit up against you. Got to get that guard. Got to get that guarding.
Somebody's giving me tickets to that game.
It's definitely him.
At DC.
Is it in Phoenix?
If
it's in Phoenix, I got you. I don't have many people. Okay. But if it's in DC, you got to make sure you take care of Pop. All right? And we got to make sure a lot of Wahoos are at that game as well. So you guys make sure you show up. Phoenix versus Washington Wizards. Go Wiz.